Hello there, Windy City Stunties. It's me, Goblin Marine again, with a Week 2 recap. So we finished early. It's only Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, yeah. And we already finished all the games for this week. So let's get right into it. The first one was Underworld versus the Ogres. So 6 Psychopaths versus Underway Freaks. And the Underworld just couldn't catch a break in this game. If I'm remembering this one correctly, it was just a ton of failed dodges. Um, so if we go to statistics, I think, nope, it's dice rolls. And we go to Underway Freaks, where are dodges? 53% dodges. And there's no tackle, right? So that's terrible. Like, what can you do when you get 41 ones and you fail 53% of your dodges? There's just not really much you can do about that as stunties. Like, if they don't come to play, they don't come to play. The other thing is they had almost as many successful blocks, same number of injuries, but KOs. The Ogres were removing players a little bit better. Not a lot of SPP on either team. The Dyslexic Pervert's son did well. Hannibal Lecter got some, and Tiny Penis got a little, but not a lot of SPP. I guess there's a lot on the Ogres. Never mind. There's 13 for the Ogres. Not a lot for the poor Underworld team. This was 2-0, and that little Noblar picking up the MVP there. So, see how these teams progress. I don't think those Ogres had anything, so let's go to 6 Psychopaths. I don't think they had any levels yet, but I think, yeah, so they still don't have any levels. They're going to have one on this Noblar, but their Ogres haven't leveled yet, and they've only got 5 of them. So they're a little behind the other Ogre team, but they're doing what they can. They've got a sprinkling of SPP around, and if any of the Ogres pick up a MVP, they'll level. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 levels on Noblars. And it looks like he took diving tackle for both. So they've already got sidestep. That's not a bad choice. All right, next up on the schedule. Oh, let's check out the Elite of the Worst and see how they're doing. Or not the Elite of the Worst, the Underway Freaks. So picked up extra arms and 2 heads. So I like this split. In general, my build on Underworld Goblins is always going to be either 2 heads or big hand first and then extra arms, but that's because you usually have the rats to pick it up. I like this because it gives him a 2+ pickup. It gives him a passing opportunity or a handoff opportunity, and 2 heads is just too good on these goblins to pass up. So he's getting some nice development. These are going to help him out BS and out ball play other stunty teams. So we'll see if that works out for him. His troll's close. He's got 2 other goblins that would level if they picked up MVP. He really needs to score on Gaba to get him that extra skill. And we'll see how he develops. Next up on the schedule, Elite of the Worst, to make like a banana. This is Big Chuck versus Big Chuck's Lizards versus Kamen Zimmer's Ogres. He picks up an MVP on an Ogre. That's good luck. He's got a fair bit of SPP here. It looks like he picked up Handsome Beard or I Don't Like Lizards. Let's see. I don't know if that's an Ogre. But if so, if I Don't Like Lizard is an Ogre, that looks like it's an Ogre touchdown. I'm not sure. We'll check. Big Chuck just picking up SPP. 16 SPP. Can't really complain about a game with 16 SPP. Statistics, 43%. So it looks like the Skanks just had the ball, hung back in their own half a fair bit. A lot of successful blocks for the Ogres. Couple injuries, but the same number of injuries for the Lizards. Those poor Noblars take a hit poorly. And dice rolls, fair number of ones still. The dice this week, Chuck wasn't heavy on the ones. Both of the teams in the last game were heavy on the ones. Looks like the Ogres were heavy on the ones. 73% dodging. I'm assuming all of those are Noblars, so that's a little bit poor. Big Chuck's dodges were 61%. That's a fair bit poor. So that's rough to see that kind of stuff. Bonehead, 76%. That you don't really like that if you're Chuck. So let's look at those teams. We've got the Elite of the Worst. And let's see what he's picking up. So he's got a block Ogre and a break tackle Ogre. That's big. Those are going to be, he's got some skills now. He's going to really be able to do what he wants with those ogres. Tons of Noblars. Apparently, he's had trouble with them leaving the pitch. Still no rerolls, so he's going to be a little bit rowdier. But with that ogre with block and a couple others at 5 SPP, he's right in there. So who was it? I don't like lizards. So that was an ogre touchdown. Good on you. Good on you. All right. Trolls are stupid and psychedelic shroomers. This is my game. It's a goblin mirror match. This game was absurd. I posted a screen capture of it from where at the end of one of the halves I just piled in and made it hard for him to block or dodge his way out. Well, it would have been too hard to dodge, but it would have been three or four dodges to get out. SPP, 11 for me. He picked up like 17. He got a lot of SPP. He was injuring a lot of my guys. So early on, I went for the really rowdy chainsaw on his Fnatic, I think first turn. And then at the end of my first turn, my Fnatic and chainsaw were gone, and my bomber had blown himself up. So I kind of wasted my weapons, but he was up on men. Neither of us had a bribe because we were basically even TV, and I didn't spend any money. So I was down men the whole game, but I don't think he's used to playing Stunties, because I don't think he dodged nearly as much. He didn't pull nearly as many sort of 3+3+3+ YOLO plays as you need to really get the most out of Stunties. And I just got lucky. So if we go to dice rolls, 71% dodges for him. I made 67%. But if you look at these numbers, he made 21 dodges. I made 37. I made 8 go-for-its and didn't ever fail one. He made 12 and failed one. So he made more go-for-its. I made more dodges. 52% on armor. What was I? 40%. Statistics. 2 KOs and 4 injuries versus 5 KOs. So he was removing players well. He did fine with that. 32 blocks versus 26. So we were pretty even on blocks. But if you look, I just had the ball too often. And I made sort of a running dash towards the end zone once I'd recovered it in the second half, up 1-0, and up 1-1, and just went for it, Decent game. Had some funny moments. Hopefully he's got a level on this goblin. Hopefully he can skill up his team. So let's look at his team. Trolls are stupid. And he's got a diving tackle and a sidestep. He's picked up the bomber now. Which I agree with because it's 40. It's the same as a regular goblin. And if you don't know what to do with it, you can stick it on the line. And if it gets KO'd instead of another goblin, he was leaving at the end of the half anyway. So I like taking the bomber on goblin teams. He's so cheap. You don't have to use the bombs just because he can. You don't have to fumble it and blow yourself up. But it's good to have that option. And then he's got a sidestep and a diving tackle. So his team's getting some good development. His Pogoer's about to level, which is good. It's good that the Pogoer's not stealing the SPP. I always worry when I take a Pogoer about them just hoarding all that SPP for themselves and not letting anyone else on the team get it, because they are more mobile than the other players. Nope, that's the team I just looked at. So if I go to my team, the Shroomers, my Pogoer now has Sure Feet, so I want him to be taking as much movement as he can. He's already 7. This I've seen on Bull Centaurs. This is huge, having the rerolls. So he's going to be making a lot of go-for-its from here on out. Destroying Angel picked up the grab after game 1. My miss next game is back, white button. And Shiitake now has diving tackle. Now, I know I'm told that you got to have sidestep first. We'll see how this works out for me. Probably I won't use him to base directly. I'll probably put him a little bit back in screens so that to make it harder to dodge through multi-level screens. Our last game is Little Lizzie, which is Killman or Yo Romeo versus Striker, and getting some SPP on the Skinks. Striker's just cleaning up house. He seems to play a fair bit of Stunties and know what he's doing. So if we look at dodges, Little Lizzie, 61%. And again, there's no tackle in this league yet, so 61% on dodges is just painful if they're all Stunties. That should be what you'd expect 87, or no, I guess 66 is what you expect, but with rerolls you expect it to be higher. I'm not sure how it counts dodge rerolls. Striker, meanwhile, Um, about the same on dodges. Pickups, doing all right. He had passes, throw teammate. His dice were one heavy. Little Lizzie's dice were pretty even as they go. The twos are a little concerning because stunties don't usually do stuff on twos. But all in all, I don't. It's just 87%. Striker had the ball, so I saw Little Lizzie not really being sure if he should attack the ball or try and screen. It just again, another player I'm not sure is used to playing stunties. He needs to get used to that sort of ragged edge of enough dodges versus too much dodges, where if you have enough, you can pull off those plays. If you don't have enough, you kind of miss some of the plays you could be making otherwise. But if you take too many, you can implode. So there's that ragged edge there, and you really have to have a good feel for whether you're nearing it or not with stunties. Going over it isn't terrible in a stunty league. In a non-stunty league, going past that, not being conservative will get you. But in this league, it should be fine. So let's see how their teams are developing. Little Lizzie. Oh, a strength up skink. That is brilliant. That's going to be awesome. So, genius. He managed to roll boxcars, and instead of taking something like sure hands or block, which are also valid choices on a skink, or strip ball or wrestle would also have been good choices in this league. But strength is just amazing. He's going to be a good player going forward for this team. He's got a niggle, picked up another. Is this another niggle or is this just an MNG? Just an MNG. So he's having a rough time keeping his players up, but he will have the Crocs next week. His Crocs was MNG'd this week. So his Crocs will be back and only needs one more injury to level up. So he's got a couple players close to leveling up with the Crocs and the Skink. He's got two other Skinks that'll level if they get an MVP. And he now has a strength up. I think that's the first stat up in the league. So good on you. Put him to good use. Pull some crazy stuff. He can now mark corners of cages and dive in for a 2-die on the ball. And, well, except against the Ogre teams, nothing's going to really stop him from getting a 2-die on the ball if he's willing to go for it. So that's good to see. It's good to see he's getting development and that it's fun development like that. Hopefully that helps him have fun with this team. Striker, no new levels. That's interesting. I'm not sure how he got so much SPP and no new levels. Block Halfling was putting in work, man. He's the one who killed the Skank. He pulled, let's see, statistics. How many successful blocks does he have? 14 successful blocks, 4 injuries inflicted, 1 kill. Like, this Halfling is a murder fling. All he needs is to roll doubles again and take Mighty Blow, and this guy will be ridiculous. But his team is otherwise undeveloped. He does have the Wizard Stadium, and he knows what he's doing. He's a very good coach. So he probably doesn't need much more than that to do well in this league. It is a stunty league. It's not like you have to have killers everywhere. Like, just hitting stunties will kill them. All right, so let's look at next week's schedule. We have Trolls Are Stupid versus 6 Psychopaths. So that's going to be Ogres versus the Goblins. 6 Psychopaths is the one that has levels, I believe, on the Ogres. This is, nope, okay. Oh, and he must have lost an Ogre? That's bad luck if he lost an Ogre. I don't know. Goblins are always so swingy, and Ogres can be too with the Boneheads. We had a number of turns with 2 or 3 Boneheads for both Ogre teams this game, or this week. So it's hard to call. I think, what was it? Trolls Are Stupid. If the chainsaw shows up, he'll be good. If he doesn't overcommit with the Fanatic and end up taking red dice uphill blocks on Ogres, I think he's got what it takes to pull it off. The Ogres are also down on players, that particular Ogre team. And although he could pick up a few more Noblars, he's probably saving for the Ogre and just running with 11. So I have to favor the Goblins in this. They've got what it takes to remove the Noblars and get away from the Ogres. And the Ogres don't have a lot of extra players, so it may end up being 5 Ogres on the pitch versus a handful of Goblins. And he's going to be picking up 100 or 210 TV worth of inducements. So that's 3 bribes and a babe. Like, That's a lot of inducements. There's 3 bribes, and Bomber maybe is 60. So he could easily induce up and have a good game. So I got to go with the goblins here just because they've got so many inducements, and the troll or the ogres don't have that many skills or players. The other ogre team, the elite of the worst versus little Lizzies. So little Lizzies now have that strength up lizard man or skink. Uh, and they're so fast. It's so hard to keep up with skinks if he can just stay away and dodge past. And if he can go a little easy on the throws and handoffs. He's been a little bit trigger happy with getting the ball from one skink to another. And he's really been punished with the dice. Like, it's not, I don't think he's passed as many handoffs. Let's see if I can look at statistics for succeeded and 2 succeeded catches. And I know he's gone for a lot of handoffs. So he hasn't really been rewarded for trying the handoff sprint away plays. So if the dice come back around for him, or he can make use of that strength up skink, he'll be in good standing, or he'll stand a good chance. The elite of the worst, however, has tons of players, has block and break tackle, so he's got more skills on his ogres. I think he will definitely be able to level his 2 ogres, Mr. Double Skull and I Don't Like Lizards. I'm not sure he'll win the game. You know, the skinks are so fast that I still have to favor skinks against ogres, I think. But I think he'll be in a good place to either draw if he can crush the skinks early, or get some good development on his ogres as he bashes over time. I would like to see him score with endurance just to get a skill in an Oblar. I don't know what he would do with that, or if it's even worth it. You know, they are doubling their cost when you take a skill. But just to get one of them leveled up, I'd like to see that. But if he can pull ogre touchdowns, that's obviously better. Brunch time versus Underway Freaks. So we have the Underworld team that's starting to develop some Underworld BS versus Striker. So also, I guess Killman is going to get 240 in inducements. So that's a fair bit for the Lizards there. Striker will be taking up 80 TV in inducements, so he's got enough if he's got some cash, which he does. He should be able to take a chef. You know, he's got the block halfling. Other than that, he doesn't have a lot of development, but neither does the Underworld team other than the extra arms and 2 heads. So I got to give Underworld the advantage on playing the ball, but I think the bash game kind of goes to Striker. Striker also has the Wizard Stadium, so I don't know if this is a home game or not for him, but that could come into play. And the inducements are gonna try and steal the rerolls. I got to give this one to Striker just because he's on a roll, and he's pulling those sort of I'll just go for this, let's see what happens plays. I haven't seen too much of that out of the Underway Freaks, and they were punished hard for even attempting a dodge last week. So hopefully that doesn't happen this week, but I do have to give the edge to Striker just because he's Striker, and he's always playing some ridiculous garbage, and it plays off for him. It works out. Then there's me versus Big Chuck. I don't believe I've played Big Chuck before. I almost did when I had Goblins in the main league back in season 5, and we were running Swiss still. I was doing good enough to almost play him, and then I didn't. So again, my team has Grab on the Fanatic, Sure Feet on my Pogoer, and Diving Tackle. So that's going to help me a little bit. It's probably going to come down to weapons. I'm at 830. Oh, that's the wrong Lizard team. Chuck is at 1060. So I get a fair bit of inducements unless he fires some players, but he doesn't really have enough players to fire. He's down a skink as it is. He does have a block skink, diving tackle, and sidestep. So he's got the speed on his side. He's got block on his side. He's got more rerolls and an Apo. It's going to come down to, with all games with Goblins, whether my weapons show up. And so far this season, they haven't shown up too much. They haven't really, well, last game they didn't show up at all, but the first game they did all right. It's going to come down to that. I have to give this one to the Lizards also. Again, they're so fast. Chuck knows what he's doing. I genuinely think he's a better coach than me. And having a block stunty in a stunty league, having one guy with block that you can reliably blitz with, especially when Chuck knows how to get at the ball, he's going to know how to do that. It's going to be hard for me to beat this team. So I got to give that one to Chuck. So my predictions are 6 Psychopaths, Little Lizzie, Brunch Time, and Make Like a Banana. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see how it goes. Going to the leaderboard, Chuck, Striker, and myself are on top with 2-0. So we've all won out so far. We've got two teams that are drawn. We got the Six Psychopaths and Underwave Freaks, who are 1-0-1, right up there with us. And you've got Common Zinner, Pookie Pookie, and Yo Romeo or Killman, who haven't fared so well. You know, there's been a lot of bad luck from what I've seen in this. A lot of dodges not working out. So hopefully these three pick up a win, pick up some fun games at least. It's still anyone's season. You know, we've played 2 out of 7 days in this, so there's still a lot of matches left to be played. There's still plenty of time for anyone's team to implode. You know, it's easy to have one bad game, lose 6 guys, and then you're playing with loners the rest of the league, and you're like, I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everyone's having fun with this. That's it for this. That's it for week 2 review. See you later.